morning everyone. For some days I have been getting various messages from students about the identification of poetic devices. So on their demand, basically for standard 9 and 10, I have composed this video so that you will be able to understand the poetic devices properly. So without wasting time, let's get started. Right. So our first figure of speech is simile. What is simile? A simile is a figure of speech in which we compare two unlike things. What is the identification or recognition? Because we can see here we often introduce like or as. Okay, so it takes the form of x is like y or x is not as y. X is similar to y or else x is not similar to y. Okay, I want to put some examples so that the concept would be very crystal for you. The first one, he fights like a lion. Basically, lion is a wild animal, but he is pronoun. It means I am talking about a person. So there is a person who has the courage to fight like a lion. Two different aspects are there, but still, as because the person has courage, so he is fighting like a lion. So this is the case of simile. If I say he swims as fast as a fish, it does not mean that that person is a fish, but maybe his swimming expertise will determine that he has the power or the guts, or he has the capability of swimming like a fish. That is why I have used as fast as a fish. You can see the form. As is used here. In the first sentence, like is used over there. If I say he slithers like a snake, it means what? It means basically he slithers like a snake. What is the similarity maybe? The similarity is that he is very quiet and silent like a snake. Okay, that is why I have used like. If I say my dad was a mechanic by trade, when he was in the army, when he got the tools out, he was like a surgeon. So it does not mean that he was a surgeon, but he was compared to a surgeon. Okay, so that is the direct comparison between two objects. Okay, our soldiers are as brave as lions. What does it mean? It means our soldiers are lions. No, they are courageous. They have guts. They have the capacity. They are courageous enough to fight with the enemies or foes. That is why I have used as. So after as you can use one adjective and thereafter as, and again you will follow to use any noun or pronoun over there. See, her cheeks are red like a rose. What is the meaning? It means her cheeks are rose. No, not at all. Maybe her cheeks are very soft, like the petals of a rose, and that is why I have used like as a rose or like a rose. He is as funny as a monkey. So the way a monkey, makes everybody laugh, maybe he is funny enough to do the same. So I have used he is as funny as a monkey. He is cunning as a fox. It does not mean that he is a fox. Maybe he is a very clever person, so he can be compared with a fox here. The water well was as dry as a bone. If you have seen the bone that is very dry, that is very hard, maybe the water is entirely dried up, so the well is empty, and I have compared that well with a very dried bone. That is why I have made the direct comparison with the help of as or like. So this is called simile. In the photograph, in the picture, you can see I have written some examples like her heart is like gold. Gold is very valuable metal. In the same way, her heart is. So I have made the direct comparison. The world is like a stage. Like a stage. If I say the world is a stage, that is a different thing. That is indirect comparison. But if I say the world is like a stage, so I have used like. So it is a case of simile. He eats like a pig. Like a pig. How is it possible? Maybe he is clumsy or awkward enough to eat like a pig, and that is why I can say this is the case of simile. You are like a rock. You are hard enough. You have no heart, maybe. You are not an emotional person. So this is the case of simile. If I say your eyes are like sunshine, so these are very glittering one, okay? And that is why I have used like. If like and as, they are used in any sort of comparison or sentence, so they are used to beautify the sentence properly, and these figures of speeches are used basically by the poet, and the writers, okay, to make the text and literature or the piece of literature very attractive and very fascinating one. Next, poor as dirt. Okay, so the dirt and poor, so that is the basic comparison. Poor different thing, dirt different thing, but as because that though two unlike things are here, but they are often compared on the basis of some bit of similarities. So this is the case of similes. Okay, our next figure of speech is metaphor. Metaphor. Metaphor is the indirect comparison actually between two unlike things. In the first text, I have mentioned about simile. So simile is a direct comparison, but metaphor is the indirect comparison. We cannot use here like or as. See some examples. It's raining cats and dogs. What does it mean? It does not mean that the cats and dogs are falling from the sky. Okay, it means, okay, it is raining, very hard. It's raining incessantly without stop. Okay, so that is why I have used cats and dogs. This is actually a phrase. Next, you can see sea of grief. If I say sea of grief, how and where does one come across a sea that is filled not with water but with grief? Understood? That is called sea of grief. Okay? Actually, these days I'm not well. My life is full of grief, or my life is a sea of grief. So we can understand that my life has become a hell. So, my life is brimmed with grief, and that is why I have used sea of grief. So that is also the indirect comparison. Next is fishing. Fishing, it is not used to mean that the person is actually fishing. It is an expression which is used to signify that the person is looking for something that is difficult to obtain. So this is the case of fishing. I am not saying I am fishing. I am fishing means what? I am fishing means what? I am, catching some fishes. But no, the intention of using this fishing as what? As a, metaphor is quite a different thing. Understood? So that is our second figures of speech. Now the third one. See, I have given some examples actually of metaphor here as well. A metaphor is a figure of speech that describe an object or action in a way that it is not literally true but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. Same thing I have described. If you are the apple of my eye, it does not mean that, that you are apples of my eyes. What does it mean? It means you are very beloved one for me. You have, hold importance in my life as well. That is the case. If I say, bubbly personality, it does not mean a person is bubbling over anything, etc. Okay, the person is bubbly, it means the person is very cheerful, very happy and jovial as well. Fill blue. Fill blue mean? What is the meaning of fill blue? No one actually ever feels like the color blue. Although many people say they are feeling blue, it means they are feeling sad. If I am saying I am feeling blue today, what does it mean? I am feeling sad. So this is also the comparison, but that is not the direct comparison. It is the indirect comparison between two unlike things. So this is the case of metaphor. Okay. Well, our next poetic device is personification. Very important. Most of the questions are asked from it. What is personification? Personification is when a writer gives human qualities to animals or objects. That is called personification. What is the meaning? See some examples. 10,000 daffodils I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced. Okay, so this is composed by William Wordsworth, taken from, what is the name of that poem? Daffodils. Yes, I remember Daffodils. So in this poem, William Wordsworth has given the daffodils, those flowers, the ability to toss their heads, and waves the ability to dance. In the same way, a human being can dance or being cheerful. I hope you have understood. If I say the earth hath swallowed all my hopes, this is taken by Shakespeare from Romeo and Juliet. Here, William Shakespeare has given earth the human ability to swallow. The way the human being swallow or engulf anything, in the same way Shakespeare, has given that particular earth the human tendency or ability to swallow like a human being. So this is the case of personification. In personification, human qualities are existed to animals or objects. Okay, I hope you have understood. See, another example I have posted here through one beautiful photograph, that is the wind whistled throughout the day. The wind cannot whistle, but we the human being can whistle. Okay, but here the poet has written or given the ability to that particular wind to whistle like a human being. So this is the human attribution. Hence, it is called the case of personification. Well, we have the fourth beautiful figure of speech, that is a refrain. What is a refrain? Refrain is a repetition of lines or whole phrases in a poem, usually at the end of a stanza. It creates a musical effect, pressurizes, emphasizes a point, and draws attention to a point or lends unity to a piece. That is called a refrain. Okay, see one poem I have read, that is Brook, probably written by Alfred Tennyson, Lord Tennyson. What was the line? The line of the poem was very beautiful. For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. See, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. This particular bunch of lines, was utilized in that particular poem maybe 3 or 4 times. For what purpose? Maybe to emphasize a point, to draw the attention of the audiences, of the readers to a particular point. What is the point of that? That human being, okay, they may come and they may go. So it means what? It means their birth and their death are sure to be happened. Okay, but I go on forever. Who is I? Here I is the beautiful small river, the brook. The brook is eternal. Okay, so it is not mortal as the human being. So it flows or goes on forever. So this is the case of refrain. See, President John F. Kennedy has quoted this line, mankind must put an end to war or war will put an end to mankind. You can see, okay, similar words or phrases are used here in the front and the last. Okay, we are focusing the mankind. Mankind, has to put an end to the war. If they do not commit the same thing, one day will come when our existence will be lost from the face of the earth. So this is the case of what? A refrain. That is the beautification of any poem, any composition. Well, our next figure of speech that is onomatopoeia. What is onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia is the use of words which imitate sound. Imitate sound. Imitate sound mean? Suppose if I say chatter over stony ways, that is composed by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Again, the brook is saying the same word. I chatter, the brook is chattering. So the brook is creating sound. Which sound? Chatter sound. So this is imitating sound. So this chatter word is the onomatopoeia. In little sharp and trebles, again the sound is there. I bubble into wedding bays, I babble on the pebbles. It means I create some sound when I face some hindrances on my way. Okay, so this is the case of onomatopoeia. Like dogs bark, okay, like we create any sound, like the babies cry. So any sort of imitating sound is known as onomatopoeia. Okay, well, we have the next figure of speech, that is repetition. Very important. What is repetition? Poets often repeat words, phrases, lines, or stanzas to create some beautiful musical effect, to emphasize a point, so that they can draw the attention to a particular point or to lend unity to piece. So that is repetition. Probably you have not understood. I'm just describing it here. See that example that is taken from the composition. You know which composition? The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. See, repeating word. Ice, ice, ice. Okay, so we are enforcing, we are emphasizing that particular point. We are telling about the importance of the ice. So this is repetition. See, one other line is there. Day after day, we stuck, not breath, nor motion. Day after day, day after day. So day, this word is repeated. Okay, so this is repetition. Okay, next, our figure of speech is irony. What is irony? Irony means the use of words to convey the opposite of their literal meaning. Any statement, any situation where the meaning is just opposite or contradicted by the appearance or presentation of the idea. Adjective ironic or ironical. You will come to know there are three kinds of irony. First one, verbal irony. Second one, situational irony. Third one, dramatic irony. What is verbal irony? What is verbal irony? Probably you do not know. Verbal irony is a trope in which the intended meaning of a statement is different from the meaning that the words appear to express. Okay, I'm giving you some examples. Suppose see this example that is also taken from that composition, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. William Coleridge, he spoke, water, water, everywhere, and all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. In the above lines, the ship blown by the south wind is stranded in the uncharted sea. Ironically, there is water everywhere, but they do not have a single drop of water to drink. That is the beautification of this poem. Okay, so what I have used? Water, water, water everywhere, but not a drop of water to drink. What does it mean? Though we can see the existence of water over there, but that is not suitable for us to drink. So this is the case of irony. Okay, means a situation where the meaning is just contradicted by the appearance or presentation of any idea. One another irony is there, that is called dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is an effect produced by a narrative in which the audience knows more about present or future circumstances than a character in the story. See, suppose we are watching any TV serial like CID, in which There are many characters. The group of CIDs are there. Okay. Those characters do not know about the murderer, about the criminal. But here, the audience, who are the viewers of that TV serial, we just come to any conclusion here by sitting in our drawing room. So here, those characters have no idea about the murderer, about the character, but we guess or anticipate about such. So this is the case of dramatic irony. Probably you have understood well. We have our next figure of speech. See, alliteration. What is alliteration? This word is actually Latin. Okay. Latera was a word. It means letters of alphabets. You know, it is a stylish device in which a number of words having the same first consonant sound occur close together in a series. You will come to understand. See, but a better butter makes a batter better. See this example. Better, the first letter consonant sound B, but B, butter B, batter B, again better B. So this is a repetition of the consonant sound in the front of that, particular word. This is the case of alliteration. A big bully beats a baby boy. This B sound, this consonant sound is, repeated. This is the case of alliteration. Anxious ants avoid the anteater's advances. See, A sound is repeated over there. This is the case of alliteration. A squawking seagull swoop on sunbathers. S sound is repeated over there. This is also the case of alliteration. The wild winds whisk to the west. W is repeated here. Okay. The first consonant sound is, occurring or using, closing together in a series. So this also case of alliteration. Jenny zebras zigzag through the zoo. Z, Z, Z. Everywhere you can see the same particular letter. So that is the case of alliteration. I am dotted silver threads drop from heaven. That is taken from the poem Song of the Rain. So I am dotted silver threads dropped. This D sound is repeated over there. Okay. I come from haunts of coot and hern. So see, haunts and hern, H, H. And come and coot, C, C. This sound are repeated. That is why it is alliteration. I make a sudden sally. That is also taken from the beautiful poem of Alfred Lord Tennyson. That is the brook. Okay. So here S sound is being repeated. So this is the case of alliteration. Okay, dear students, we have our next figure of speech. What's the name? That is allusion. It is allusion. What is allusion? Allusion is an expression that is designed to call something to mind without mentioning it explicitly. It is an indirect or passing reference. Try to understand what I have told. See some examples first. Don't act like a Romeo in front of her. Romeo is a reference to Shakespeare's Romeo actually. Who was Romeo? A passionate lover of Juliet. Okay. So what I have said, do not act like a Romeo. Probably I'm talking to someone who is like Romeo, who was a passionate lover. Okay. That is why I have used this reference for him. If I say, the rise in poverty will unlock the Pandora's box of crimes. This is an allusion to one of the Greek mythology's origin myth, Pandora's box. This place is like a garden of Eden. Okay. This is actually biblical allusion to the garden of God. Okay. In the book of Genesis. Hey, guess who the new Newton of our school is? Maybe there is a genius student of our school. So we say that he is Newton of our school. Next, stop acting like my ex-husband, please. So what does it mean? Apart from scholarly allusions, we refer to common people and places in our speech as well. Okay, my ex-husband. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, stop acting like my ex-husband, please. It means I had my ex-husband. Maybe he was over possessive. I was not liking him very much. Okay, maybe he talks too much, or he has some, negative perspectives. So on that basis, we can say, okay, that do not act like my ex-husband, please. So sometimes, apart from that, those allusions I have described about Bible or something else like that, we refer to common people as well, okay, in our speech. That's very important to understand. Well, next, very beautiful imagery. What is imagery? Imagery is the essence of literature, an art of illuminating the dull and dry writings like a full moon. How beautiful it is written. See, what is imagery? Imagery means to use figurative language to represent objects, actions, and ideas in such a way that it draws attention or appeals to our physical senses. See, I have put some examples. It was dark and dim in the forest. So here the words dark and dim are the visual images. Okay. This is also, imagination. We are representing any object. The children were screaming and shouting in the fields. Here screaming and shouting appeal to our sense of hearing, and that is the case of auditory sense. Okay, so that is also what imagery, what we can image actually. Okay, next, he whipped the aroma of brewed coffee. So whiff and aroma, they evoke our sense of smell, that is the olfactory sense. So this is also imagery. All right, if I put another sentence, the girl ran her hands on a soft satin fabric. The idea of the soft in this example appeals to our sense of touch or tactile sense. This sense is called the tactile sense. Okay. Next, we have example. The fresh and juicy orange are very cold and sweet. Juicy and sweet, when associated with oranges, have an effect on our sense of taste, that is called gustatory sense. Okay, so these are the examples of images. Guys, I hope you have understood well. If you still, if you have any problem or any doubt regarding these figures of speech and all, so just comment me in my comment section, so that in the next video I will just clarify all the doubts that you have. All right, now going to the next, that is oxymoron. What is oxymoron? Oxymoron actually is a form of a paradox that combines a pair of opposite terms into a single unusual expression. See, sweet sorrow, cold fire. That is a form of paradox actually. Combination of the two opposite terms. I'm saying big and again I'm saying baby, big baby. If it is secret, so how can it be open? But I have used open secret. Okay, that is the beautification of language. Alone together, if you are together, why there is a need to be alone? See, but we use these oxymorons in our day-to-day life. Deafening silence, probably you have heard or seen this word. Though it is deafening, so how can it be silent? We use clearly confused. If it is clear to you, so why are you being confused? I have mentioned original copy. If it is original, so why you are using a copy? Passive aggressive, quiet scream, seriously funny, only choice, pretty ugly, growing smaller, open secret, These are the cases of oxymoron. Hope you have understood.